There you go.
If you had knocked out water over that,
That would have been pretty epic.
that.
That would
Right
have been
into
pretty
your
epic.
lap.
See you later, guys.
Kelsey with the Athletic. Maybe to first start off, is Kevin? What's up with Kevin? And is that are you concerned about that long term?
No, he he bumped knees in our first preseason game. So again, with a goal for him of just having him be as healthy as he can to start the season, we wanted to be extremely patient and give him an opportunity to heal. But he would have been capable to play tonight if needed. Yeah.
And then, what were you seeing as some of the offensive execution struggles, especially in the first quarter, first half? That is something you'd have to look at and address.
Well, I think it's a style that we'll see a lot of, and how teams are going to defend us. And I think it was good for us to see it. Teams are going to be physical with us. They're going to grab us and hold us because they know we have talented offensive players. And, the only way that you are allowed to find an advantage is to be disruptive. So the more physical you are, the more disruptive you are, the further back you push the offense, the more you slow the game down, right? The later in the clock you put us, that gives the defense an advantage. I think for us, we're still learning what we're going to face. We've got enough guys who can win the point of attack. And that's with movement, cutting, force downhill. But again, it was good for us and give Philly credit. They came in obviously with a plan of what they wanted to do, and I thought they executed it well. But you look at the 7 turnovers in the first quarter, that lets you know that you were just back on your heels a little bit.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. JB, you said before the game that you just wanted to be better than game one. How would you assess that?
At points we were. Again, I don't think we started the game out that way for sure. But I do think we figured it out and recognized what was happening and how do we solve it. So that is an improvement, that to have the ability to do that, within the game and not wait to go get film and all that stuff to figure it out. So that's improvement. But, these games will give us different tests and different opportunities to learn as a group, what we need to do, how we need to execute, and what our opponents are going to bring.
And early in the game, you put Caris on James. Defensively, how do you feel like Caris held up in that matchup?
I think Caris did a great job defensively. I think he's been really consistent from that standpoint. Like we were talking about through camp and even these preseason games, he has great length, a great will to. He moves his feet well, and he's accepting those challenges. So I think he did a great job.
Marlon Ragnar, Athletic Journal. That physicality, were they directing a lot of that at Donovan, or was he just nervous tonight?
No, I think it was at all of them. You know what I mean? And it disrupted our rhythm. This is why we have preseason games, is because it's an opportunity to work those things out. And, how do we help Donovan? How do we do more for Darius and Caris and all those guys? So this is a great opportunity for us to just see it from other opponents, and what teams are going to try to do and what they're going to try to take away. And then we make our adjustments to help.
I'm just curious what you thought of Isaiah.
I thought it was good. I think Isaiah is, a really solid basketball player. I think he's the type of player that you're going to see for a long time on winning teams, because he just knows how to help, everyone else on the floor. So I think you'll see even the better players he plays with, the more impact he's going to have.
Because he had a heck of an assist to one of those.
Yeah. No, he is a really good player. Yeah.
Do we say our names again? Jeff Shadal. So I want to ask you, even trading Lowry Market and your team seems pretty established. What are these young guys? What young guys are kind of making an impression on you?
I mean, I think Isaac Okoro has been fabulous. I think the way that he defends, the way that he's running the floor, cutting, the toughness that he brings, I think he's definitely stood out.
But I mean, like, not just tonight, but, from camp through now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say him. Again, I thought that Dylan Windler was playing at a high level in camp, until the injury. So I think those are the two guys that have stood out as far as young guys that have stood out.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. In the past, you've mentioned that 10 is kind of the sweet spot for you rotationally, and I know Kevin was out tonight, and that changes things, but you only played 9 until the end of the third quarter. And of those 9, 2 of them, and Chetty and Robin only played less than 7 minutes combined. Was that a way to kind of juice up the minutes for the starters in preparation, or was that something else?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to play them in the fourth quarter, so I was just trying to bump their minutes up. Try to get them as many minutes as we could. I let them run long stretches. These games, like we've talked about, are also opportunities for conditioning. So that's why I was trying to let those guys run a little bit longer. And then we'll do the right thing by them tomorrow in order to prepare them for Wednesday.
And then how have you seen the pairing between Donovan and Darius evolve from the start of camp now through 2 preseason games?
I think it's been, good to watch how much they want to help each other. I think early on in camp, they were trying so hard to help each other that it was to our detriment. But I think now they found a balance of how they can help each other, how they can play together, and be successful in it.
JD, you had mentioned a lot to us last year now that you're big on the scrap. And Donovan told me the other day that when the offense just isn't working, you guys can fall back on your defense. He said there was some good tonight. Did you notice your guys translating defense to offense and trying to get back to the game that way?
Yeah, I thought more like in the first quarter, we didn't get the job done on either side of the ball. But I thought that we started to find that more in the second and to start the third as well, where, our goal is, we may not score for 3 possessions in a row, right? But we can trust in our defense that we can hold the fort there also. And by being able to do that, we have talented enough offensive players and unselfish enough guys that our offense will come. But there's going to be nights where the ball just doesn't go in the hole. And, you can't just not play because one side of the game isn't working for you. So we will always, and, we talked to our guys about this tonight, hang our hat on the defensive end of the floor. If you want to get in, you'll compete and help on that end of the floor. The guys that are carriers, our starters, our heavy minutes guys, that doesn't exclude them from having to defend and compete on that side of the floor. So, again, that's we're working our way to that. That's what training camp and preseason is for.
And it looked like Dean tweaked his ankle a little bit. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he said he could have gone back in, but we wanted to hold him out again just to be safe.
Brendan Gulick, Sports Illustrated Media Group. Curious on just like a general number of turnovers. Is there a number that is acceptable that you're willing to live with on a nightly basis?
Yeah, I mean, there's a type of turnovers that we're willing to live with, right? We're not willing to live with, turnovers where we're playing in a crowd, right? We're not living with turnovers that are careless turnovers. If a guy is making the right play and the defense makes a great play and takes a charge, we live with those turnovers of guys being aggressive to the basket and attacking the paint. Improvement for us will be 13 to 14 range. I think that's something that we'll focus on, obviously improving from last year where we did turn it over quite a bit. But again, I think it's more so about the type of turnovers than the strict number of them.
It felt like there were some moments tonight where maybe Jarrett didn't control the ball as well as normal down in the low post. Is that something you've seen regularly that he's working on, or is it just maybe
Yeah, I mean, again, it's preseason for everybody. And there was a lot of contact being made on those plays as well. Like Jarrett is sure-handed. He doesn't give it up much. So, again, that's something that we'll get fighting through and just being used to that. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See ya.
Bringing Karis and Jarrett to Let's go ahead if you want.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland Cavaliers.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. What was your assessment of the offense and the rhythm that you guys were trying to find or didn't find in the first half?
I think their small lineup kind of messes up a little bit, just with the screening actions. Sorry, I'm catching my breath right now.
You're good, man.
But yeah, I think their small lineup kind of messes up, got us out of our actions. We weren't setting great screens, so we had some turnovers and some tough shots.
JB was talking about how it was good that you guys felt this physicality, this style, so that it prepares you better for the regular season. When you're playing against a team like this, like what's most important to take away from it?
I think, when you have a game like this, it's easy to learn from. We made a lot of mistakes, and it's good to have a game like this early. Whether better now than middle of December. But I think just offensively, just spacing, setting good screens, and then take advantage of transition as well. I think it'll be great for us in the future.
Kelsey of the Athletic. Caris, you guarded James a lot tonight. When you're out there with that group, we've talked a lot about you defensively in this first kind of through camp. But what have you seen just about yourself and the way that you are guarding guys out there and being able to just defend on that end?
Yeah, well, that's going to be needed from myself, as well as really everyone else on the team. So I try to be reliable on both ends, and I think that's where it starts. Just pushing myself to be the best player I can be. So defense is part of the game, so I try to be my best at that as well.
Marla, right now, our Akron Beacon Journal, is your confidence, you came into such great shape and you set yourself up for such a good, is your confidence at an all-time high right now, you think? Or?
Yeah, my confidence doesn't really go anywhere. It's pretty high all the time. I've been playing this game for a long time, so I just try to have fun with it. But it definitely feels good to be in good shape and to have a healthy body, so you're not really thinking about anything but just playing.
Do you feel that more on the defensive end or the offense?
I would say both. Being able to give my all on defense and then go down and, get a bucket offensively or make a play for a teammate. I think I can see that immediately.
Karis, how much are you on the opposite side of Donovan in scrimmages? And if you are, how does that help you prepare for some of these kinds of matchups that you plan on seeing in the regular season?
I would say the first couple of practices and training camp, we were against each other. But I think after that, we've just been on the same team pretty much the whole time. But I've said it, he's one of the best players at our position in this league since he stepped foot in the league. So it's always a challenge for me to play against him. And I think him as well playing against me. And it definitely will, set us up to play better against other great players.
Thank you.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. Karis, how do you decide when it's the right time for you to be aggressive offensively? Your first stint tonight, you didn't take a shot, and then you seem to be more aggressive on that end of the floor later on.
Yeah, I think it's just a feel thing. For me, I try not to really even think too much about shots. Just think about, getting to spots on the floor. If the shot comes, take it. If not, find a teammate. And I think that's when I'm at my best, when I'm not really putting any pressure on myself to score the ball. I've always said I'm kind of a complete player. And I think it kind of gets overshadowed when you can score the ball because everyone just looks at, oh, he's a scorer. But I really pride myself on being a complete player.
Brendan Gulick, Sports Illustrated Media Group. Karis, I'm just curious how hard it is to get up for a preseason game. We know that you guys are out there trying to balance, and we're playing hard because we're competitive, we want to win, but the result isn't the ultimate piece of this. It's about building toward the season. How difficult is it to strike that balance?
It's a little difficult. I think even more than that was just the long break between last game and today. In the season, you won't have a break like that. I think it was 4 or 5 days. So I think we were all anxious to just get out there and play. We'll probably have another one Friday to Wednesday, our last preseason to our first regular season. But I think as a whole, just being excited to play. I think everyone is. Games like this happen, you try to minimize it throughout the season. But we're just glad it's a preseason game.
Is there anything that you'll do different from Friday to next Wednesday that you did from game 1 to game 2?
Yeah, I think we'll probably have a scrimmage on one of those days. I'm not sure. But I could probably, assume that we'll probably do a little bit more.
Yeah, just one more quick. With all the conditioning and change your diet and all that, did you lose weight? Are you, I don't know, more muscle? Or I'm just curious what the effect of it was.
Honestly, no, I pretty much stayed the same weight. Yeah, my weight doesn't really fluctuate too much. It is what it is. I feel better though, so yeah. Yep, appreciate it.
Karis.
Thanks, Karis.
Thank you.
Chris Feedwork, Cleveland.com. Hey, Darius. Karis was talking about struggling to find a rhythm early, and JB was talking about that as well offensively. Like, what was it about tonight that made it difficult to find a rhythm early?
The switching. I think switching really got to us. We was kind of stagnant when we thought we had our matchup, so we was trying to go one-on-one a lot. We got to play more touch action so we get more moving, more body moving. Get some easy ones, get some easy layups, and then there's when everybody just starts shrinking to their man, and everything else opens up for everybody else. But I think the switching really got to us for sure.
A lot of teams in the NBA are probably going to switch against you. I mean, they switch a lot regardless. So what's the balance in knowing you have really good one-on-one players like yourself, like Donovan, like Caris, and also staying within the offense?
We just have to go in transition when we get stops. And then just not try to force a lot. Like you said, we got a lot of one-on-one players that want to just take their man off the bounce, but we have a lot of other people that can help us as well. So when they do help, we got to make the extra pass for open shots. Like I said, we just got to keep ourselves moving. The ball can move. We started to get stagnant a lot, especially in the first quarter. That's when they just really took off on us. So just moving the ball, moving your body, just get some motion. When you move the ball and they're switching, it's really hard to guard. So, I think that's one thing that we're going to look over and just try to put in.
Thank you.
Marlon right now, Akron Beacon Journal. Just when you see Karis Garden, James Harden, what impresses you about how he's taken on this defensive challenge?
We all like it. It's a challenge. That's a former MVP right there. So, everybody knows what he's going to do. Everybody knows tendency. So, it's still pretty difficult to do that. So, just to see Vert out there switching, Donovan, ice on him sometimes. We all have to – they're all great one-on-one defenders, even though that they don't get a lot of pub for it, a lot of attention for it. But they're really good defenders, and we still have to help our teammates as well too. So just not a lot of easy layups, a lot of straight line drives. We did overhelp a lot today, so something that we got to watch in film just to keep our man in front and not overhelp on corner threes. But, I think after the first quarter, I think we turned it up a lot defensively. So I'm pretty happy about that. We just got to put it all together for 48.
And have you been impressed, though, with Karis? James's diet, he's done all this, just everything he's done since last season. What, like I said, what does that say about him?
He's a competitor. He wants to win. He knows all the setbacks that he had in the past couple of years before, and he knows that he can really help us. So, we all have one goal. He wants to reach that goal. So, this summer, this was his first full summer that he could have just to work out and just be himself. So, he put a lot into his body, and you could tell, me and Vert was just lifting after the game. He's a worker. That's what I love about him. He's a winner. He's gonna compete, and he's gonna do anything just to do that.
Postgame with The Athletic. Darius, JB was saying that how important it was for you guys to see the level of physicality early on and the way that you guys worked through that. So how do you do so, like in game as it's happening, just working through those struggles, seeing how they were switching and everything, and being able to overcome that, I guess.
Just try to make an adjustment quicker than we did tonight. But yeah, I mean, they were super physical. They was denying us the ball from 94 feet. I mean, like I said, the switching really killed us a lot, I believe. But just playing through the physicality, I mean, it was tough out there, to be honest with you, especially for like the second preseason game. But I mean, we just got to look back at the film, see what we did wrong, and just get past it. I mean, we're going to see him again for a couple more times, so we know what to do.
And then what have you seen from Jarrett just through these first 2 preseason games, the way that he's just dominating the paint like he did?
Yeah, he's found his role for sure. I mean, he's just fitting in perfectly with us, to be honest with you. He really just led us tonight, I believe. I mean, he set the tone from tip-off. He was battling. He was getting beat up down there, but he was just taking it. He was going through the contact, going to the line. He's making mid-range jumpers. So, I mean, Jay had it going. So, I love that aggressiveness from him.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. Darius, how have you and Donovan evolved together as a duo from day one of training camp through now the second preseason game?
Just knowing what he likes, trying to figure out where he wants the ball, where he gets his shots from. I mean, I've been watching a lot of film from him when he was back in Utah, and just a lot of practice film from training camp just to see, like, really what he wants. Hopefully I could just deliver him the ball whenever he wants. And, I mean, he's a great scorer, so he can get a lot of buckets by himself, but I want to create some open looks for him just to get easy buckets. But, I mean, it's evolving great. I mean, we're starting to gel a little bit. I know one thing for both of us, we got cut down on turnovers. And then guard on the other side of the ball as well. So we both are talking to each other about that. We both are holding each other accountable for it. So, I mean, he's a competitor. I'm a competitor. We want to win. That's what we're going to try to do.
In your experience, how long does that process typically take?
To be honest with you, I never had a dynamic threat like that for real, like just a go get a bucket type. So I can't tell you. I mean, it took me and Vert a couple games, like actual real live games. So, I mean, hopefully a couple games. Hopefully this Atlanta and Orlando next games, we can just start getting a good feel for each other and just go from there.
And then it was a shorter rotation tonight, at least while the starters were playing. I think only 7 of you played more than 5 minutes in the first 3 quarters. JB mentioned that was kind of a conditioning test of sorts for you guys. How do you think you held up?
For 31 minutes like that, they're pretty good. I'm not tired. My legs feel good. Yeah, I feel good. Good conditioning. Beep test really helped out a lot. So shout out to JB and D-Mill about that. But yeah, I feel fine. I feel good. I'm ready for game. I'm ready for some actual games. I know that for sure.
Brendan Goulet, Sports Illustrated Media Group. We just talked with Caris about the challenge of the longer layoff from game 1 to game 2 of the preseason. And he referenced the fact you guys are going to have that again when you go from the final preseason game on Friday to Wednesday. How did you handle the last few days individually? And will you do anything different when you have that longer layoff coming up?
This little break, I was really resting a lot. Training camp was a good training camp. We got after it a lot. So, yeah, this probably like the last weekend we actually have off, and just I was with my family a lot, watch some postseason baseball games. So, I mean, that's the last time we can actually do that before the season gets started. So I was relaxing, but I know going to the first actual game, I'm gonna be in the gym. It's go time from there, so I'm locked in.
Ask Coach too about turnovers and how many of them you're willing to stomach on a nightly basis. He talked more about the quality of turnovers than the quantity. The times that you turned the ball over tonight, were there any that you felt like, hey, that's okay, I made an aggressive mistake there and I can live with that?
Yeah, it was a couple, but I had a couple that was unforced and some that I really hate to do. So I'm just going to try to clean that up, watch the film, and see where I could have hit somebody up early, or just make a better decision with the ball in my hands. But turnovers comes with the game. I talked to my big brother Ricky, and he just told me it comes with it. So, I mean, that's my fault. I take it, but just gotta have that next play mentality.
Darius, Evan Demerol at a bulletin. Defense obviously leads the offense, and you guys are a defensive first team. And JD said there's some good and bad. You took a bit of a punch to start the game tonight. Do you see as just one of the leaders your guys' defense translating to offense after just a little bit of a messy first quarter?
Yeah. I mean, after the first, I think that we got a lot of stops and got on transition, got some easy buckets. But like you said, the first punch in the first quarter really killed us. So we couldn't bounce back. I think we got into single digits a couple times, but we just couldn't get over that hump. And I mean, that's what comes with it. The first quarter really kills us.
And with a guy like Caris, who is really comfortable with having the ball in his hands more, but he's playing with you and Donovan in the starting lineup. What have you noticed from him just kind of playing off ball next to you guys through two games of action in camp as well?
He's just trying to figure it out. Like you say, he's usually just having the ball in his hands. So, I mean, we try to get him involved a lot more without the ball. So he just get into that scoring position, just go do what he does. So, yeah, he's trying to learn to play without the ball a lot more, come off a lot of down screens, and then making the right decision off of it. I mean, he's just so much of a scoring threat that people just usually just overhelp. So he had to lob with Jay or Evan, kick out to K-Love. So just trying to figure that out right now. And I mean, I think he's doing a pretty good job at it so far.
Did you get any good Cleveland restaurant recommendations?
Yeah, for people that was like on me about that, I was just asking. I know I've been for 4 years. I was just asking for some new recommendations. But yeah, I got some good spots. I heard the barbecue spot is really good. I'm gonna try that soon. But I mean, I have a chef at home. I was just asking for a friend. Like, the people were on me really about that. So yeah, I got some good ones though.
Any message for the Guardians tomorrow?
Go get it. Come on now. Hey, we good. We good. The Guardians got it. We're always rooting for them. We're gonna be watching for sure. So let's go get a dub.
How crazy was that 15-inning thing?
I was there for a long time. I know that for sure. I was there for a long time, and I'm glad we got the dub. Yep. Thank y'all.
It was a long game.